morning, everyone. I'm Harsh, and for the next hour or so, I'll be discussing with you how to get started with SQLite. Okay. So let me show the agenda to you first. So we will be discussing what is SQLite, who is using, where to use it, what makes SQLite different, understanding constraints, functions, and then we'll go for some basic demos. So basically, in this period of time, we'll be going through an overview of SQLite. So first of all, let me ask you one thing. I mean, how many of you have used SQLite previously? Nobody. Any embedded database? Nobody. That's great. So what is SQLite? SQLite was created in 2000 by D. Richard Hipp, and it's basically a embedded database. By embedded database, what I mean is it does not require any configuration, separate configuration. It can be embedded into your application. Okay. You don't need any separate software running side by side your application to maintain this database. Self-contained. It is called self-contained because it is in a single file, in a single DLL. And that DLL contains C code, and that contains each and everything you want to do from SQLite. It's serverless, no server configuration is required. It has zero, you require zero configuration to manage this. I mean, basically in database system, client server database system, what happens is you have a server running and you have the clients which interact, and it uses TCP/IP protocol and all. But SQLite runs alone. There's no server required, nothing, no configuration. So this no server client system leads to zero configuration. That is very manageable. And from a point of view, if we see, I mean, it's very hassle-free. You don't need any expertise to handle the database. No any separate administrator to manage the database and all. Apart from that, it has some drawbacks of zero configuration, but we'll see that later. Then it's a transactional database engine. You see the third point, it's small footprint, around 0.5 MB. That's a very important point. I mean, whole database is contained in a less than around 400 KB file. You need nothing more than that file to manage the whole database. So that's a very big advantage. I mean, it's lightweight. Entire database is in a single file, and it supports ACID transactions. And most importantly, it is in public domain. That means, I mean, it's completely free. You can, the source code is also available. You can change it, and there are whoever changes it. I mean, it's developers have signed a contract to make it public. They can't own anything, so it's in public domain. Who is using SQLite? You can see many famous icons over here. Mac is using it in its Safari browser. Apart from that, in many other applications. Mac, its basic package comes with many SQLite applications. Android is using it heavily. Then Airbus in its aircraft is using SQLite. Adobe is using it as application data format. I'll talk about it. iPhone, iPad, both are. Solaris won't boot without SQLite. PHP comes with SQLite. And this embedded system, this Philips GoGear MP3 player, you must have seen. It contains SQLite in it. Okay, now the most important question for us. So where should we use SQLite in our application? So the first point is standalone application. So basically this is very important for, the standalone application. What I mean is the application which does not interact with any server or client. I mean, it's independent on a system and it will work on its own. So in those cases, SQLite would work wonders because it is very lightweight, it would be very fast, and there won't be any hassle of this network connection and all. Then local database cache. What I mean over here is, suppose you have a server and a client. You have an enterprise database. Okay. So you are maintaining a server for that, and you are pushing that updated data from your client side. So what this caching means is, you cache the data in SQLite, okay, and then whenever you want to push it, you push it to the server using SQLite. I mean, for local caching, you use SQLite. So that would reduce the pressure on the main enterprise server. Session database, it is used, I mean, it can be used as session database. Embedded devices, I showed example of MP3 player, aircraft. So all these small PDAs or MP3 players, mobile phones have very less memory. So at that point of time, this small size plays a very vital role to make a selection. Then we have internal or temporary databases. This is a very good application of SQLite. I'll explain this more in the demo. Application file format, very important. Adobe uses it as its application file format. What application file format actually is, like, let's take an example of MS Word or MS Excel. You create a file .xls or .doc. That .xls or .doc is your application file format. Now suppose you are having you want to create an application and have your own file format, okay, like .xyz. So what you'll do is, you'll just create a SQLite database for each file, okay, and that will have .xyz as the extension. SQLite database can take any extension. It's not required that only you need to give .db or .SQLite. You can give any extension, whatever you want. So you can create that file. So for any user, it would appear as .xyz, but in reality, it would be your SQLite database. And now you can store all the related configuration data or any related your application related data, and the user will, when the user will click it, the connection between SQLite and your application would be made, and it would appear as if your application file has been opened. Where to not use it? Client server application, it's preferable not to use it. It would work, I mean, suppose you have the SQLite database on a server, and you want to interact to it through network. So it would work over there. But due to the latency in the network, it would slow down. So that would have a drawback for you. I mean, SQLite doesn't play any role over here. It's the fault of the network connection that will slow down the process. Basically, this whole SQLite concept is of data file reading. Okay. It's just, if you can read a file, you can access SQLite file. High volume websites. Suppose you are having a lot of clicks per day, or you have very high volume data. So in that case, it's not recommended to use. Although the size limit of SQL database is around 1 TB, so that's much for a Windows or desktop application. Then high concurrency requirements. In those cases, we can ignore SQLite. These are some distinctive features of SQLite. Zero configuration and serverless, I just explained. Zero configuration, I mean, there would be no role of the administrator, there would be no configuration required, and this would be really visible when I show the demos to you. Then single file databases, I have already explained, it's contained in a single file. Stable cross-platform database file. Now suppose you create a database file in SQLite in a Windows system, and you want to use it in a Mac or in Android or anywhere. You can just create it anywhere, take the file, use it anywhere. It would work. One other interesting feature of SQLite is manifest typing. Manifest typing, those who have worked in this Real Basic or Ruby on Rails, they must be aware of duck typing. So duck typing is if it looks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it is a duck. So that means for a column, if it takes the values and determines the data type of the column based on its values. So you can, in an integer row, in an integer column, you can enter string. In a string column, you can enter integer, any kind of value. Now suppose it has type affinity though, like it's an integer column. So if you enter a string, it will try to convert it into an integer. If it successfully does it, it will save it as an integer. Otherwise, it will save it as a string. Similarly, in string column, always it will be able to convert an integer into a string. So it will save the integer values as string. So there is no restriction over this column. So that is called manifest typing in this. Variable length record means like you give varchar 100. Okay. So 100 bytes are reserved for that particular column. So what happens with this is when you give text and you enter just one letter, so 1 or 2 byte would be used, other won't be used at all. Whether in other cases, if you give varchar 100, it would take 100 bytes if you give one letter or you give 100 letters. These are the features not supported. Right and full outer join. Complete alter table is not supported. Complete trigger is not supported. Writing to views is not supporting. Views are only read only. This grant revoke are not supported. Basically, these are dist files, so grant revoke doesn't make any sense over here. It supports not null constraint, unique constraint, primary key, foreign key. Foreign key was not there, which was introduced later. Recently it was introduced. So foreign key, check, and default constraints are there. I'll show these in my demos. Function. There are three types of functions. Core functions consist of the native functions of SQLite. Okay. And aggregate function would be like count. These all to show the statistical data. It's all supported. Then datetime, it has a lot of datetime functions to manipulate and use with. So let's start with a demo. And first one is install SQLite. So I don't even have SQLite right now in my system installed. So I'll go ahead and install for the SQLite. I've been saying continuously that this is very simple to use and it's lightweight. You'll get to know when you see the whole process. The installation and all. For Windows, we go to SQLite and in the download, we have for every platform we have got these. It's related files. For Windows, we need to download this shell zip file. And this is all what you need to create databases and work with your database. 496 KB file. I'll show whether it's installed in my system or not. So right now it's not installed, okay? To install it, what I need to do is just keep it in the system folder. See Windows System 32. Okay, now it's installed and ready to use. So let's create a database first. For that, I'll create a folder in C drive. To create a database, you just need to give the database name with SQLite 3. SQLite 3 space the database name. So let's call it testdb1, and the extension could be anything, whichever you like. So we'll go for db. Okay. Now let's insert some, create some table and insert some values in it. Let's go for constraints later. A table is created. Let's see dot tables. Dot tables would show all the tables in the database. So we have test table 1 right now. Now let's enter some data in it. I will perform the select query. Now we have 2 rows. So I mean, this is a basic. This is how we use. I mean, this SQLite 3 application. So this is the whole software which we need to, which we require to create and play around with the databases. So let me show you one IDE. Let's download an IDE for this database manager. Yeah, let's go to the folder which we created. C test db. So this is test. Sorry. The data is encrypted. No, you just need the SQL Studio. I mean, any interface to. It's not encrypted. I mean, you need any interface just to. No. If you open it with Notepad, then you won't be able to open. But if you try to open, by encrypted, you meant the data encrypted, or yeah, you can see, but you need either an application or an interface to. Yeah. I mean, you can encrypt the data, but that would be a separate process. In that case, you would require that key to decrypt it and see the data. What if we created this DB in extension of XLS? It would just appear as a .xls file, but it would be an SQLite database. But we can open it with Excel. No. It won't be an. No. Yeah, it won't be an XLS file. I mean, it would just appear to be one. So let's download a database manager for this, which will give us some graphic interface. SQLite Studio, and we'll go to download. We'll get one for Windows 32-bit. So this GUI is also very user friendly. You don't need any installation for this as well. You will just need this exe, and that's all. So it's downloaded. So in the demo, apart from creating just a database, we'll see some important concepts like in-memory database, and then the constraints will look in detail over here. So this is the whole ID for, I mean, this is the GUI for SQLite. Now let's go viewer and see testdb. Now this you won't be able to directly open the file, but through this. So right now we have one table. Okay. So next, let's look upon some in-memory databases. Okay, and we'll discuss the use of it. I'll give SQLite 3, then memory. Okay, we have a table now, mem tab, and we'll enter some data. Okay. So right now we have this database in memory. Okay. Physically we don't have that file present anywhere, and we are working in testdb, and we should check testdb for any file. There are no files. So it is in memory. So this can be used in many applications where we need to store data temporarily. Okay, throughout a session we want to store a data, we'll just create this temporary data, and we'll keep on fetching the data and handling all the data. And once the connection is closed, the database is gone with all the data. So let's get out of this memory database now. So now let's look at some of the constraints. Okay. Like not null would simply go that no null elements are allowed. Unique would be, nulls would be allowed, and it would be unique. Primary key would be same as unique, but only the difference is only one primary key shall be there for only one table. And the primary key, I mean, this is a defect or an overlook. The primary key in SQLite can contain null elements. So it can have unique data. Along with it, you can add null values. So basically, that is an overlooked part from the developer side. Basically, this was detected in a very later phase, so it was not possible for them to change this. If they would have changed this, then the existing users would have been into trouble. So that's why they are going with it for now. Foreign key is supported now, and check constraint. So let's, in primary key, one more feature is there, like if you make an integer column a primary key, it won't take any, it won't have that manifest typing or duck typing. Okay, it would take I mean only integer values, and it would be auto incremented. Okay, so yeah, it will be auto incremented by default. So we'll create, we'll try some constraints, and then we'll move to the next topic. So we are trying XLS. Let's see what happens. The file won't be. Yeah, I mean, when we'll create any table or something, then the file would appear. So let's give an integer primary key. So ID integer primary key, and value would be text, and let's give not null. Or unique, we can try unique. Okay. Quickly we'll insert some data. You can see I'm not specifying the primary key part, and it would be taken. Let's try to give high again, and it would throw an error because it's a unique constraint. Okay. So now let's check the data. Oh, sorry. Okay. So you can see 1, 2, 3. It's auto incremented. Okay. Now let's see. A distinctive feature of SQLite is that we can attach another database as well. Okay, like I'm using this testdb2, and I'll be able to attach another database and query them simultaneously. So we can perform joins and all among databases. So so let's create one more database, and we'll see that attached database using that backup functionality. We'll try to implement a backup functionality using attached database. Okay. So we'll create a backup file for this test db2, and we'll call it testdb2.bak. Okay. So now let's create a table. just kept the format same as the other test1 table. So now we have an empty data, this data table. Let's try to connect it using the GUI. Oh, it appears as XLS file. I try to open it, would show you. I hope the his system does not hang. Basically, we should not give such extension which are already used. Now we have this. This table is empty. Okay, let's see what happened. It didn't open, I think. Now we'll attach the previous database, the test db2.
You created the table in the backup.
Yeah. I mean, this is the test db2 database which we created. Suppose this is our application database, and we need to take the backup of this. I mean, we are taking backup of some table in it. So for that we created testdb2.bak. Now in testdb2.bak we created one table backup, and we'll fetch the ID and values from the other database. So we'll attach this db first. Attach test db2 as tdb. Okay. Now we can check the databases in this session. Now we have the main database testdb2.bak and this tdb. Okay, I think I made a mistake. It should have been testdb2.xls because it won't recognize it. No, I think we need to build it. Yeah, now we have both the databases. So now we'll insert the data of the XLS database into the backup file. tdb2 table name was test1. Okay. Now we have detached that, and we have just a backup database. Let's see in the ID the value of. We have imported all the data. So I mean, this is the use of this attach. We can directly attach the database and use the values. So Apart from that, we have several functions. We have a lot of functions which we can use from SQLite. That would be all. Any questions from your side? Our application. So yeah, it supports a lot of programming languages. So you can okay. For at least for one Microsoft.NET we can discuss right now. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Like we can check. Okay, source code documentation for Windows. To I think this would work. This is SQLite 3.dll. I believe this is the one which we use. I'll show you in my application. We just take that DLL, we download it, and we reference it to the application, and we'll have everything like you use ODBC and all. Everything ADO.NET would be same. Just we'll use that SQLite connection, and everything would be SQLite connection and all. Since this is being recorded, I can't open my project and show you the. We can check it out after the seminar is over. Any other queries? Whether in GUI we can perform attach or detach. We'll have to see. I mean, how we can perceive it in GUI, how we can use it. I mean, at least we would require some. Sorry. Create table and all. Yeah, we can use it in GUI. I have not much used the SQL editor, but we must be having some somewhere we can write query on all. Yeah. So, but how to execute it? We'll have to check. There must be some features in GUI as well. Any other questions? So I hope you got to learn something about SQLite, and if you face any requirement or any situation where you need to make any decision between what database you need to choose, I think you'll have much information about SQLite to choose it or not to choose it. Okay. Thank you.